Hi, Steve. This is Holly.
In Lake Tahoe.
Just wanted to ask you how your customer service training experience in Macau has been different.
I'm sorry.
How your customer service training experience in Macau has been different, what you've learned from that, and if it has been different.
The answer, it hasn't. It's nice to see you.
Me too.
It hasn't been different. The employees in China are the most delicious, wonderful kids. They all speak 3 languages: Putonghua, Mandarin, Cantonese, and English. And some of the best of them are from the Philippines and Thailand and Cambodia. Mainland China, North China, South China, and Macau. Some are Portuguese. And they all want to do good. And they've got a terrific attitude. They're eminently trainable. And their temperament is wonderful. They have no sense of entitlement, like French folks, French employees, Europeans, overwhelming sense of entitlement. Give you an idea how wonderful it is. Izzy Sharp's got the 4 Seasons cooking as good as he can. Paris is tough. Tough place. China is an easy place. Wonderful place. I love being in business in China. I said it in a conversation last night that was a late night thing after dinner. Worth repeating. Most Americans, even sophisticated ones, don't get what's going on in mainland China. The government is more commonsensical and direct. The government is more considerate of people. And the mainland Chinese are so aspirational that they don't want any part of copies or fakes. They want the real thing. They're the most brand-conscious people in the world. We got a Louis Vuitton store in Macau that's 2,815 square feet. That's not a big store compared to the thousands and thousands of feet they have in Paris and New York that do $60 million a year, 4,000 or 5,000 a foot. We got a Louis Vuitton store where mainland Chinese people come across the border from the adjacent city, Zhuhai. And in Zhuhai, you can buy any Louis Vuitton or Rolex watch for pennies on the dollar. Of course, they're fakes. They look exactly like the real thing, and they even work. But they're fakes. And they cost pennies on a dollar compared to the real thing. So here in Macau are all the mainland Chinese streaming in every day, 20 or 30,000 of them into the building, going to a 2,815 square foot Louis Vuitton store. And last year, in 52 weeks, they spent $60 million US, 25,000 a foot. We had to put stanchions in the hallway to control the traffic into the Louis Vuitton store. Yves Carcel, the international president of Louis Vuitton, calls my attention to this when we're standing there together. And Yves is very sexy, good-looking French businessman, says, "I don't believe it, Steve. It's unbelievable to me. I have never seen such a thing." And we're looking at it. And there's a Rolex store with 800 square feet, does $40,000, $50,000 a day in real Rolex watches. Go figure. Chinese people care about getting ahead. And they are dead serious about getting ahead. They want the good life, pent-up demand. The Cultural Revolution was tough on them. All of the adults now remember it. And they're enjoying the breakout that Deng Xiaoping made possible. And that country is on the move. They got terrific tension between the need to find jobs for a billion of their 1,300,000,000 people who can't make it on a rice paddy anymore in an agricultural economy and want to go to the cities. And the central government under Hu Jintao and Wen Jiabao are rushing as fast as they can, mobilizing every asset to industrialize that country, to create jobs and lift the standard of living for the other billion people of the 300-odd million people that live there. And they're doing a very good job, but they're caught in a terrible tension between creating these jobs. Coal is their principal form of energy, so they burn coal to make factories and to keep people warm in the cities. And of course, that's environmentally unfriendly, as we know. And this carbon emissions makes China a big producer of carbon emissions. But they have a more fundamental choice than we do. They either let people starve or they burn coal. First, you get people fed and keep them alive. Then you clean up the air. It's not a choice they have that they can make the way we can. We're in a much more elegant situation. But they'll get there. My guess is that Quincy Jones last night at dinner says, if you want to know, you got to go. One of the best things you should do is go to China. And I remember saying last night, maybe, excuse me for repeating myself, but 我才学普通话，很难学普通话。我希望我的普通话会改善. I just said in Mandarin, I'm trying to learn how to speak Mandarin. It's hard to learn. And I hope that over time my Mandarin gets better. And my advice to you is to do the same thing.